Welcome back again to Mech 250 Online. Today's topic is going to be TIA Portal, which is Siemens programming software. To start off with, you should have a student license. It should be version 12. When you loaded it, it should have populated a icon on the desktop. If not, you can actually go to the start menu and start your Siemens software. When it loads, Siemens is it's called totally integrated automation for a reason. It encompasses a software that allows you communications with the HMI as well as the PLC. Well, the first thing we would do would be to create a new project. With create a new project, we can give the project a name. For today's class, we're just going to type in the word Siemens. Then we just click create. At this moment, it's going to go in, it's going to pre-populate a background template for us to build upon our project with. And then it's going to give us some options. We will go configure or write PLC program. We can configure some technology blocks. The thing we're going to do is actually take and communicate with the Siemens PLC. We're going to add a new device. Here you can see we can add a PC system, an HMI, or a controller. We're going to be working with a controller. It's an S7-1200 is what we'll be using in class. We have two options. Option one is to actually look at the type of 1200 unit we have, which we have two different styles in class. There's two different versions, well actually two different versions of the DC 1214, which is a DC powered DC input and DC output. We also have a DC relay unit in-house. We also have a AC DC, so that does take us up to 4 units. There's just two different versions of our unit. The one we have the most of is an AG31 serial number, but there's another way to go about this. You just heard me talk about 4 different types of the 1200. We can actually just choose the unspecified unit right here. What this is going to allow us to do is to take and go out and look for a Siemens PLC. What I'm doing currently is plugging in the network cable so we can communicate with our Siemens PLC. It uses the Ethernet cable. So at this moment, right on the screen, you're seeing the word detect here in the work screen. And we'll get into this view in a minute. Right now we're looking at what's called the project view. What was in previously was referred to as the portal view. It has detected a PLC1 S7-1200 with a IP address of 192.168.0.4. So we can click detect. Now we do have the option to click this box right here and the LEDs will flash on that PLC. Now what it has done, it has went out, looked at the unit we currently have, and has found the unit and the analog card that is on board. Again, we was talking about different views on this PLC or for this software. We have a lot of different options. We can what we refer to as dock or collapse the project tree, which what you was used to in RS500, this left column was referred to as a controller organizer. In TIA Portal, it is referred to as the project tree. Now, the other thing that's real nice about TIA Portal, whatever one of the windows I open up, the right column changes to be component specific for that operation. In other words, right now we're in the ladder logic programming window. If we look over here to the right, we now have general different basic instructions. We have bit logic. We can change this. Now we can look at counters. We can look at timers, math functions, conversion operations, smooth operations. I mean, it goes on and on. The thing that's also nice about this, we can build our PID control, motion control, counting, which uses high-speed counters. Now, another thing that's real nice about Siemens is the libraries. They have what we refer to as our global library. We can actually store programs there that can be reused, and additional programming. We can do just PLC tags, we could do actual program blocks, we can do motion control, whatever we want to say that is advantageous that would help make programming engineering efficiency a key part of our programming life could be saved in the global libraries. Now let's kind of navigate the software. Initially we was kind of looking at the device overview. Now when I double click on this, it's going to bring up the device view. I'm going to dock this. Now we're looking at the PLC itself again along with the analog card. If we look down here, we're now looking at the properties for that PLC. We have a lot of different options we can look at this point. The one thing that's nice is the active web server, which allows us to take and use an HTTP call sign in conjunction with an IP address and use a wireless connection to communicate with the PLC. The other thing we can look at is PLC tags. Here's where we would populate all of our tags. Now, the one thing I want to draw your attention to, at the bottom of the screen, we're looking at overview. We're looking at PLC 1, device view. We're looking at mobile or main OB, which encompasses the ladder logic programming, and now we're default tags. If I went back over to the project tree, I would have to double click each one of those to change and navigate. Down here it's a one-click operation, and really that's the thing that makes Siemens kind of stand out, at least at the moment. Alan Bradley's playing catch up, that it is really a Windows based opportunity in terms of programming. We can do a split in a window, we can configure this window the way we wanted. We can go up top, do a split screen. I can take and do PLC 1. Now I'm looking at the PLC as well as the ladder logic. I can move that over. I can take and change to 400%. At 400%, I'm looking right at the PLC faceplate, and it would allow me, if I so choose, to take and go over here at this moment. I could drag some instructions down, drag some more instructions here. I'm going to dock this other window. I'm going to drag this over here. Now I can come in here and just type in anything I want in here, like whatever label I want to give it, and I'll give it my first name, David. Now you see the red squiggly line here. That's saying it's not associated with a address in the controller memory. Well, as soon as I drag it over here, it is now address input 00. If I take and put in here, well, let's go with the word Josh. As soon as I take and click on the instruction, again, the squiggly line, I can drag it right over here and put that on input 2. Now, we can also do the same thing for the output, and we can take and put in there BRCTC. Click over here. Again, we see the squiggly line. We'll bring it right down here. Now, drag and drop functionality. There's another method we can also use when it comes to taking labeling and programming. We can come down here to the tag table, PLC default tag table, and we can come in here and populate all of our start, stop, and we'll go in here and we'll change the operand, because we'll work on the outputs here in a minute, but at this moment we're up to we need to use number 1, so we'll go ahead and check off there on that. Let's go ahead and put a stop in here, and we'll make it number 3, so it automatically populates the next available. And let's go with switch 1. used to using the underscore. As long as I know all my inputs, I can go in here and just keep populating, and it'll automatically give me the next available input, making it very nice. And let's go ahead and add an output here, and we'll call that motor 2. Let's go ahead and use the underscore so it really highlights the 2 feature. That now you notice this went to the input, but we go here and we can change the operand, take that to number 1, click check, and now we have several of our several additional tags in here. And let's just go in here and we'll take and highlight this, and here instead of called rungs, they're called networks. So we'll take and go in here and add some basic instructions. We'll take and drag down an output. Let's break down a branch. Now I'm going to take and undock this for a moment, and I'm going to do instructions. Let's do general instructions or basic instructions, and I want to take and make a branch. So here, when I need a branch, I got 2 options. I can do it this way and drag it up, and now I've created a branch. And here I can type in B for BRCTC. That's quick type. Same thing here. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add one. But let's say I change my mind here. Let's do a delete. I'm going to delete this instruction, and I'm going to delete. I got to delete that or it'll create a fault. But say now I want to take and put my branch in here. Now this is how I build this unit. I branched around, and I'm going to call this stop. So I'll just type smart type or IntelliType as I heard it referred to when I went to Bridge Valley. We'll call that start. We'll call this motor 2. We just built a rung in seconds. As if you watch any of the videos that we have put up from Siemens TIA portal, he refers to as engineering efficiency. I mean, that in and of itself just very easy to use. Real quick, we was able to snap through that network very quickly. The other thing we can do is we can also come in here and we can add instruction to this. Let me get, and we can call this motor 2 control. So when this is collapsed, we're seeing that we have motor 2 control. So we type here, this is BRCTC control. So when we collapse that, we know this is BRCTC control. It's just like having file labels set up in your file cabinet. You're able to go through here and troubleshoot this so much quicker. So if we had 15, 20, 40 different networks, this whole Windows populated with those, we can go right to the one we need. If we want to go to motor control here, we just take and click, boom, we're there. We do have the option to go on to cross-reference. We can cross-reference that actual name or that tag name, and it'll take us everywhere that is used. Now we want to do a download. We got that option as well. We give focus. We can go in here and we can perform the download to that system one of 2 ways. Now there's a couple things we can do. At this moment we can compile the hardware changes. If we just building the unit, we'd want to do that. We would want to take and just do hardware changes only, so that the system can configure all the hardware as we have it set up on our screen. Then we would come back and do software changes only, which anything we program and anything else we set up now would be implemented. And then the same thing for the download itself. We would go in here and do a hardware configuration, then we do software only changes. We could then take and come up here, we could say go online, and when we do so, there's 1 or 2 options. We can go online that way, or When you come up here, there's a little set of, if we click inside this work window, now we can click on the monitoring on or off. When you toggle that, takes us online and allows us to see the functionality of the software as the PLC is working. Very, very nice. And the other thing that's nice about this software, while we're programming, if I wanted to learn more about the let's go with the timers here. If I want to know more about this ton timer, I can take and let that draw, bring up the help. Now we're right at the help menu for that timer. This will give us the timing operations, tell us the breakdown of the timer. Very, very helpful. And you can do that pretty much on anything in here. So it'll give you more information as you hover over it. If you leave it sit there long enough, it's going to take you to a help segment of the operation. So I encourage you to navigate through this, get a better understanding of what you'll be working with. These are the 4 basic windows that will help you. Once we get to where we're adding HMIs, we'll get into device and network view, and then we could actually drag an HMI. As you notice, the right window changed. We could drag another controller, HMI, a drive, different starters, distributed I/O. There's so many things we could drag over into this window, populate it, configure it, and then just basically come right on that network connection, drag it over, it's connected. It does the work of setting up the IP address. So enjoy, go in here, have some fun, play around, and let's get started with Siemens TIA portal. Have a good day. Any questions, get a hold of me. Obviously my extension is 3412. Thank you and have a good day.